So good morning. What we're going to try to tackle here in the next few minutes is obviously one of the most important pieces, obviously, to implementing a strategic plan is the SWOT analysis. We're going to talk about the gap analysis for just a brief second, but we've already talked about that some in past lectures. Now we're going to talk about the SWOT analysis also. The gap analysis is when you come into a new organization or you take over a new organization and you're currently at A, and your vision is to be at B. You want to take the current state of affairs and end up at a new state of affairs, which is hopefully better than the current state of affairs. This gap in here and the analysis of that gap is called the gap analysis. However, that poses the question of how do I know where I'm currently at? And that's where you have to do an organizational analysis. And that can come in many forms. You can hire a consultant, you can contract out with a university. There are even certain governmental organizations, Department of Labor in some states, that will come in and help you design and or implement one of these organizational analyses. And when you do an organizational analysis, you're looking at things like information and data like budgetary information, you're looking at annual reports, the number of lawsuits that have been placed against an organization, whether those lawsuits are internal in nature or external in nature, complaints made from citizens, the results of public hearings. There's all kinds of information that you can analyze when it comes to doing an organizational analysis. However, one of the ways that we do this is through the use of a SWOT analysis. And a SWOT analysis stands for the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so the best way to execute a SWOT analysis is not by yourself and what limited knowledge you have of the organization, particularly if you're an outsider coming in through lateral entry, or the fact that you've been with the organization for a while, or hand-picking people who you feel comfortable with. Yeah, you'll get information, but the information can very well be biased or skewed. What you want to do is you want to grab people from all the different walks of life throughout the organization and the organization's stakeholders, and you want to put together focus groups. And those focus groups, as I just said, should have some diversity to them if you want the results of the SWOT analysis to be valid and reliable. You'll break these individuals into groups, and what they will do is they will work and they will do the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in each of 4 quadrants, typically, on flip charts. But you could even do this on paper, and everybody could sit in a group, and you could actually do it on just an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. How you do it is completely up to you. You'll then give people, I typically give 1 hour to do a SWOT analysis, 15 minutes allotted for each of the areas so that you can spend some time in that area, and also so that each person in the group gets the opportunity to speak for a couple of minutes. At the conclusion of the SWOT analysis, what we do is we bring everybody back together into the room and we put all of the flip charts up, and then we do a comparison to see. Everybody comes with a different perspective. Some individuals, some groups may have come up with things that other groups did not, or everybody could be doing some type of corroboration of each other and solidifying some of the thoughts and ideas. One caveat to this that I'd like to explain is it never hurts to do a modified SWOT analysis. And you may not have ever heard of that word, but I, as a consultant, use the modified SWOT analysis to corroborate the information I got in the original SWOT analysis. And you might say, well, why would you do that? Well, first of all, you always want to ensure that you've got triangulation of the information, of the data that you're getting on the organization. So you want to do surveys. You want to pull governmental reports and annual reports and the annual budget and things of that nature. And then you want to use the results of the SWOT analysis. But before you use the SWOT analysis, I think it's a great idea to have some checks and balances to make sure that the SWOT analysis results are correct and that they're not biased and that they're not skewed or that they're not leaving critical data out. How I do that is with a modified SWOT analysis. But you might say, well, how would they get skewed to start with? What if when you put each of your focus groups together, there are heavy hitters or supervisors or key players in that group or people who are connected to the top or to specific important individuals in the organization? What that can do is that can cause groupthink. that can cause the Abilene paradox to take place, where people are afraid to speak their mind for fear there could be some type of retribution later as far as their position in the organization goes. And so they hold back and they don't necessarily give accurate or real feedback as to how the organization is currently operating. And so I like to, at the end of this SWOT analysis, give out a sheet of paper called a modified SWOT analysis, and I allow everybody 10 minutes to sit anonymously at their desk and to complete that modified SWOT analysis. And then later in the office, I will take these flip charts and take the results of these modified SWOT analysis, which are done on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I'll try to see if one corroborates the other. And if it does, then that's great. Then I know that probably the results of the SWOT analysis were done fairly, that they were done accurately, that they were done honestly. However, if the results of the SWOT analysis are completely different from the full SWOT analysis, then I know there's a contradiction possibly, or that people were withholding information, and that also speaks volumes as to what is the internal environment in the organization. If people feel as if they have to withhold information in an open forum, that speaks volumes to me as an outsider, as a third party, objective third party coming in to do a review. And so with this, guys, keep this in the back of your minds that there's many ways to pull off this organizational analysis. There are many avenues on how to gather data on the current status of an organization, but one of the most important ways is the SWOT analysis. But if you're going to do one, do a modified SWOT analysis also to make sure that your results are valid and reliable, and so that you can push forward using them with some degree of accuracy in the future. With that, I thank you very much, and we'll take a short break before we move on to the next lecture. Thank you.